You know what time it is. Let's talk about JJK. So about a week after watching the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, I finally watched the first movie, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and boy do I have some stuff to talk about. I didn't really expect much coming into it because usually anime movies, in my experience, personal experience, have been more focused on the entertainment side of it and less on actually bringing anything to the plot, to the main story. But this movie was different. It is kind of part of the main storyline, and I loved everything about it, from the new characters, the new powers, the villains. This was everything that was hyped up to me. But I'm yapping too much. Let me break it down for you exactly like I did for the first season of JJK. The best part of this movie for me was easily his main character. Yuta was the perfect MC for this story. I know he was mentioned a little bit in season 1 of JJK, and I know Todo was looking for him, I know Megumi was looking for him, I know Toge was said to be like his better self when Yuta was around, and now I kind of understand why. But just in general, Gojo said that the only one who has the potential to surpass him one day would be Yuta. So yeah, I was definitely excited to see what the hype was about, and it really didn't disappoint. His backstory made me very emotional, with Rika when they were kids telling each other that they were gonna get married so they could be together forever, and then Rika dying in the next scene and becoming a demon looking out for him all his life. It was just, at the beginning, it kind of confused me because I didn't know that curses could have that type of relationship with humans, that they would just latch onto a human and defend them. I thought curses would just be born out of negative energy and just roam around, and that Sukuna would be kind of an exception because he was sealed, as it was said in the beginning. But for a curse to just latch onto a human like this and defend him with all of its power made me very interested. As the movie goes on, you get to understand more and more about the reason why it happened, but at the moment it really confused me. But yeah, this movie treated characters in general in a very unique way. It expanded a lot on characters that we already knew about, but showed us another side to them. One of my favorite dynamic in this movie, I was about to say TV show. One of my favorite dynamic in this movie was actually the relationship between Yuta and Maki. And I thought it was kind of similar to the relationship between Yuji and Todo. And it goes to show that really different people connect with different people. Like if Todo was in the same position to serve as Yuta's mentor, he wouldn't have done a job as good as Maki did with him. Vice versa for Maki and Yuji. Really, they connected so differently, but the dynamic was so similar in a weird way. And I love that we got to know more about Maki and her character in general. This movie really expanded, like I said, on a lot of characters' background and motivation, philosophy, everything I talked about in the first video about JJK. This movie stayed really consistent with the themes of the story. And one of my favorite scenes was when Maki told Yuta in the belly of the beast, literally the first demon they killed together. She told Yuta when Yuta couldn't really do anything. He didn't know how to trigger Rika. He didn't know how to do anything. She told him, you say you don't have confidence. You say you don't have the ability to save the people close to you. Train, kill the curses, and everything will come to you. As you get stronger, everything will come to you. Confidence will come to you. Friends and family and belonging will come to you. And as the movie went on, you could see progressively how it happened. It didn't just do a time skip and boom, now he's friends with everyone. Because if you remember, they didn't really like him in the beginning. They really took the time to introduce Yuta to all of the team one by one. He had the scenes with Maki and the training with Maki, and I thought that it made it obvious that there was something going on between them two, but I guess not. And he had the dialogues with Panda. Panda was really served as this figure to really get him to understand all of the team. Panda was the one who told him about Toge's past. Panda was the one who told him about Maki. Panda always kind of served as the mediator, as the one who was going to introduce him to everything. He served his role perfectly. And then he went on to have the big fight scene with Toge, fighting against I think it was an A-grade curse. It was amazing. You can never get enough Toge. In case I didn't make it obvious that he was my favorite character. My one question out of this is, where was Toge's throat medicine when he was fighting against Hanami? But anyway, as the movie went on, as I keep saying, you really saw the change in Yuta's eyes. And that for me is the proof of a well-written character. If you take the character in the beginning and you take him in the end and it's the exact same character, something went wrong. But with Yuta, through the movie you can see him evolve, and you can even see it in his eyes and his look when he looks at enemies, when he look at his friends, when he stands up to what's his name, Geto, when he says, I don't really know what you're talking about, but I don't like you talking like that to my friends. So yeah, Yuta's character for me was a 10 out of 10. And he's up there with Toge and Yuji on my favorite character list. But yeah, another character I really enjoyed was Gojo. It made me see that Gojo is genuinely a nice guy. If you watched my previous video, I talked about Gojo as a guy I wasn't too sure about. Maybe he's a villain, maybe he's plotting something, because you never really know what he's up to. But seeing how he acts with Yuta really made me realize he's genuinely a nice guy. And that's not just because Yuji is the vessel of Sukuna that he's nice with him. But for everyone he judges worthy, he has that side, that soft side for them. And he was ready to side with Yuta if the council decided to execute him, just as he did with Yuji. So yeah, Gojo is valid in my eyes for right now. And yeah, like I talked about earlier, Maki's character in this movie was really a plus. I really like when someone is like a mentor figure for someone. That's why Jiraiya is my favorite Naruto character, because that mentor figure, the one that's gonna bring the main character to a new stage that's gonna make him elevate. And Maki kind of played that role that Todo played for Yuji, like I said, but she played it for Yuta. And she played it well. The training scenes were awesome, where she was putting Yuta on his ass and telling him to get up, or she was telling him that, are you trying to land a blow on me? She was really pushing him the same way Todo pushed Yuji. This movie also did something crazy, and that's the villain, Geto. Geto was awesome, and to be honest, I'm so happy that I finally know something about him. I guess we kind of knew some about him, like he was related to Jujutsu High and he was probably a former student or something, but now we know who he is. We know his relationship to the school. We know what his goals are. He wanted to eradicate all non-sorcerers. And to be honest, he played his role perfectly. When he just arrived at the school unannounced and everybody got serious, Gojo took off his blindfold and called all the teachers on the schoolyard. Everybody was ready to squabble, and I've never seen all of them so serious before, so right then I knew he was a serious threat. And they gave him the nickname the worst curse user ever. That's crazy. Goosebumps. So yeah, I can't wait to know more about Geto, about his goals. I mean, I know about his goals, but about his organization, about everything related to the villain. Because if you watch my previous video, one of the things I liked the least about the first season of JJK was its villain. I thought they were kind of underused and underexplained, but now with this, I know it's going on the right path. And as you probably noticed, I'm a fan of dynamics. I love dynamics between different characters. So his relationship with Gojo and how they talked about it, and the last scene where Gojo is basically executing him, it was basically a perfect scene. Now I just want to know why he's partnering with curses. He doesn't need them, but I guess he just wants to use them to eradicate everyone and then get rid of them. That would make more sense to me, but I still don't know why he's like teaming up with curses. It doesn't make sense to me still. So yeah, A+ for Geto. Now let's talk about the main topic, the fights. The Shinjuku battle was crazy. It was the biggest scale, like we've never seen battle of that scale in Jujutsu Kaisen yet, but the ones that really stood out to me in this movie were the Toge and Yuta versus the unnamed curse. I don't think it was named, but the twist one, and the final fight, Geto versus Yuta. Craziest fight in the entire movie. The animation, the storytelling, the fight scenes, the fight choreography, everything, the powers, how they were used. Just for the Toge and Yuta's fight, for example, this fight was really what got Toge and Yuta to be really close. When Toge tried to push Yuta away, protect him I guess, but kind of just told him to stay away, I'm gonna do it by my own, and Yuta insisted to fight with him and threw him his throat medicine that then led to the victory of the team. That was really a bonding moment for both of them. And the last fight, damn, I like the parallel that they made between Yuta and Yuji. Once again, JJK loves parallels. But when Yuta saw the corpse of his friends, basically when he thought that all of his friends were dead by the hand of Geto, he had the same exact angle of a shot, saying the exact same words as Yuji when Yuji saw his friend Yunpei die. He said to Geto, I will kill you. in the exact same way that Yuji said it to Mahito. Yeah, but yeah, everything about this fight was so crazy. Like the way Rika stepped up for Yuta just had a power up, and Yuta offered himself as a sacrifice to Rika to basically increase her energy and just blast a laser beam. I guess it works like a pact, like they did in the first season, but that really pushed Geto to his limit. And also, Yuka and Rika are deadass in love. Like they are still in love. Is that not crazy? Am I the only one creeped out by it a little bit? Like he grabbed the demon by its head and kissed it. He kissed it. But anyway, who am I to judge another man's relationship in 2025, basically 2025. So to end things up, this movie was amazing. I think it gave main character feels to the second years. It humanized the second years, gave them more screen time, then just made them more present and more authentic as a team. Now I look at them less as side characters, but it has characters that have their own thing going on. When I see them in Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm not gonna look at them as main characters because I know their story. I know that they have their own stories. They have their own stuff. They have their own past. And that's what I liked about this movie. It really humanized all of the characters. It even humanized Geto. And that's not an easy task to do. But yeah, this movie, the fight scenes, the characters, they gave more screen time to my boy Toge. Jujutsu Kaisen just keeps on getting better. The universe, the extended universe of Jujutsu Kaisen, it really makes me want to learn more about it. I almost want to watch lore videos on YouTube, but I know I'm not up to date yet. So I think I'm gonna do it once I finish season 2. I'm gonna start watching the lore videos, but as of right now, I cannot wait to know more about this show. I was wrong, you guys were right. This show is the shit. And with that being said, like if you want, subscribe if you can, and thank you guys for watching.